Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're taking a fascinating and honestly kind of uncomfortable journey straight into our own minds. We're going to look at a scenario that might hit a little too close to home for a lot of you. We're talking about the person, let's picture a woman in this case, who has a habit of saying yes to absolutely everyone except herself.
Let's set the scene here. It's 7 p.m. on a weekday. She's wrapped up her day, her bag is totally packed, and she's standing right by the door. She is finally ready to head out for some time completely alone.
And you know what's really interesting about this? It's how rare this actually is. This isn't just some casual outing. This is a meticulously made plan meant strictly for her own well-being, her rest, and her peace of mind. It's a literal date with herself, something she's been looking forward to for days. But then the phone rings. You can almost feel the tension, right? A friend is calling, asking for a favor. Hey, I really need some help. Are you free? And before she even has a single second to process it, her automatic yes just slips right out. The bag slides off her shoulder. The plan is instantly canceled. Once again, she's made herself completely available for someone else's needs. Later that night, she's sitting there completely alone, asking herself one agonizing question. Why didn't I just say no? We really need to isolate this painful internal monologue for a second. We have to separate her immediate guilt from the objective analysis we're about to dive into. Because if this feels intensely familiar to you, stick around. We aren't just going to give you that superficial learn to say no advice. We're going so much deeper. So, Section 1, the root of the problem and why saying no is so incredibly hard. Here's the crucial point. This woman isn't weak. Not at all. Actually, she's probably the most caring, most reliable person in her entire group. That's exactly why everyone loves her. Her inability to say no doesn't stem from some personality flaw. It stems from a deeply ingrained conditioning timeline. Think about it. At age 5, a young girl learns that when she listens nicely and obeys, she gets love and praise. At age 15, when she adjusts what she wants to accommodate others, she gets labeled as sensible and mature. By 25, when she consistently puts her own needs dead last, she's tagged as highly cultured, selfless, the perfect family member. Over years and years, her brain is fundamentally wired by these external rewards.
This conditioning leads us to what we're calling the good girl formula. It's this subconscious hardwired belief that your personal value only exists when you're serving or being useful to other people. This formula gets so deeply embedded into the brain that saying yes morphs from a conscious choice into a literal survival reflex. When a request comes in, the brain doesn't even show the option for no. It only sees yes, driven by this deep-seated fear that if you refuse, you won't be liked anymore. You won't be seen as good.
But what is the actual price of this reflex? Let's explore Section 2, the cost of always agreeing and becoming a guest in your own life. There is a massive hidden cost to this habit. When your default is always yes, you slowly lose your own dreams, your energy, and your time. Everything you want gets squeezed into whatever tiny gaps are left in everyone else's schedules, until eventually you wake up one day and realize you're just a guest in your own life. You have time for literally everyone except yourself. You know, people often think always saying yes brings you closer to others, but it actually hides your true self. On one hand, you have the available version, always ready, never says no, hiding her true boundaries. On the other, the authentic version, the person with her own quirks, personal preferences, boundaries, and a real desire for her own life. When you always say yes, even your closest friends only ever meet the available version. And man, that creates a profound, quiet loneliness. You're surrounded by people, but nobody actually knows the real you.
Which brings us to Section 3, the wake-up call, and a 29-year-old's realization. To really ground this, let's look at a 29-year-old woman who was the designated responsible one in her family, the one everyone turned to. Planning a wedding? Go to her. Need help with paperwork? Her. Need to vent? She was always the very first call. She handled every single problem for everyone. Then, one day, her younger sister casually said something that absolutely shattered her. She said, "Sister, you seem so strong, we never even realized that you might need something too." Just think about that for a second. Her constant display of strength, her endless stream of yeses, had successfully projected an image of someone completely devoid of human needs. Hearing this, she broke down in tears. She realized her constant availability had ironically isolated her completely. That night, she asked herself the ultimate, most difficult question. If I take so much care of everyone else, then who takes care of me? Well,
Let's just let that sit in the air for a second. There was no answer, just silence. And that uncomfortable silence was her ultimate wake-up call. So how do you break a reflex that's been building up for decades? We move to section 4, the power of the pause and changing the reflex. She didn't just start screaming no at everyone. I mean, that would be impossible for someone with our conditioning. Instead, she started a strategic experiment using one simple, brilliant phrase. Whenever a request came in, instead of the automatic yes, she would say, "Let me think about it. I'll tell you later." That's it. Just a pause. But this brief moment of suspension does something magical. It gives her brain the crucial seconds it needs to check in with reality. It allows her to ask herself, do I actually want to do this task, or am I just terrified to refuse? And this pause, it leads to a profound transformation. See, when you say yes to absolutely everything, it becomes a cheap yes. It lacks value and it stems entirely from obligation or fear. But when you learn to pause and occasionally say no, your yes transforms into a gifted yes. Suddenly, when you agree to something, people know you actually mean it. It's chosen carefully, it's highly valued, and it stems from a genuine desire to help. Saying no doesn't push people away. It actually makes your yes incredibly valuable.
To understand why this is so necessary, we have to lean into a classic but really powerful visual metaphor. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Saying no isn't about being selfish. Prioritizing your own rest, your own dreams, and your peace is literally the only way you can genuinely give your authentic self to others. If you don't fill your own cup, you'll eventually just be giving people an exhausted, hollow, and resentful version of yourself. Let's translate all this theory into action with Section 5, 3 Steps to Change and Reclaiming Your Time.
If you've been nodding along with this explainer, here are 3 actionable steps you can use to dismantle this guilt right now. Step 1, use the pause phrase. Stop giving immediate yeses. Give yourself permission to say, I'll get back to you. Step 2, create a weekly yes list. Write down just one thing this week that you're doing entirely for yourself and treat it with the exact same urgency you'd treat a favor for your best friend. Step 3, accept the reality of relationships. The people who truly love you will respect your boundaries. And remember this absolutely powerful truth. Those who get angry and leave because of your no were only ever there to use your yes. Losing them isn't a loss, it's a gain. We leave you with this final, provocative thought. Your first yes belongs to yourself. The person who constantly cares for everyone isn't weak. They've just forgotten the order of operations. The moment you remember to prioritize your own well-being, you stop being a guest in your own life. A brand new life begins. So, I'll leave you with this question to ponder. What is the first thing you're going to say yes to for yourself today? Thanks for joining us on this explainer, and we'll catch you next time.